In a sprawling mansion nestled amidst vast gardens filled with fragrant flowers, there lived a little boy named Peter. The walls of his home were adorned with family portraits and the achievements of his parents, who were successful business magnates in the bustling city. With the vast wealth they had accumulated, Peter's parents tended to his every need and desire. They showered him with toys, space rockets, action figures, and an unbelievable number of board games, all designed to keep him entertained while they focused on their business affairs. Among all the toys, there was one that stood out, a plush elephant named Mr. Trunks. Mr. Trunks had large floppy ears, gentle eyes, and a smiling trunk that seemed to be eternally inviting. This beloved toy quickly became Peter's best friend, accompanying him in every adventure, every moment of vulnerability, and every ounce of joy. While Peter's parents worked long hours, Mr. Trunks became a confidant, a silent listener to Peter's dreams and fears. Despite the apparent opulence that surrounded him, Peter often felt a void deep within. While the house was full of material goods, it was also filled with echoes of laughter that drifted away too quickly. Often, he would sit in his room, surrounded by beautiful toys, but still yearn for something more, something intangible. He didn't quite understand it then, but what he sought was connection, purpose, and the kind of companionship that transcended possessions. One bright sunny day, Peter decided to venture into the garden behind the mansion. As he frolicked among the flowers that resonated with brilliant colors, he came across an elderly man sitting on a bench, quietly observing the birds fluttering about. Peter could tell that there was wisdom etched in the lines of the old man's face, the kind that spoke of life experienced in its fullest. Curiosity tugged at Peter's heart, and he approached the man. "Hello, sir," Peter called out with eagerness. The man turned, his eyes twinkling. "Hello, young one," he replied, his voice warm and inviting. "What brings you here today?" "I was just playing," Peter said, "but I want to know something. Why do you sit here all alone? Don't you have family or toys to play with?" The old man chuckled softly, looking at Peter as if he could see right through to his very heart. "Ah, my little friend, I have played with all the toys life had to offer, but what I've learned is that true joy often lies outside of possessions. It's found in experiences, relationships, and vitally, in understanding oneself." Peter furrowed his brow, trying to comprehend. "But I have everything I could want. I have toys, I have games. My parents buy me anything I ask for." "Tell me, Peter," the old man said thoughtfully, "do you feel happy all the time? When you play with your toys, do you share them with anyone?" Peter paused. He had countless toys, but he played alone most of the time. Sometimes, he felt frightfully lonely, even among the brightest objects in his room. "No," he admitted hesitantly, "I don't share my toys." The old man's smile broadened, revealing a kindness that seemed to radiate warmth. "Sharing brings people together, young one. When you share your toys, you share the joy they bring. And when you share your joy, it multiplies. The essence of true happiness lies in connection. It is as if each time you give away a little piece of happiness, a little piece comes back to you in far greater abundance." Suddenly, a thought crossed Peter's mind. "But what if someone doesn't want to play with me? What if they don't like the same things I do?" "Then you learn," the old man replied gently. "You learn patience. You learn kindness. You learn that happiness and friendship aren't bound to the toys you play with or the games you choose. It's the relationship you build with others that creates lasting joy, an enlightenment that will guide you for years to come." Peter found himself lost in contemplation. He looked at Mr. Trunks, and the thought of sharing him with someone else ignited a flicker of excitement within. "Will you play with me?" he asked hesitantly, his heart racing. "I can share Mr. Trunks, and we can create our own adventures together." The old man's eyes shone with delight. "Ah, you see? That's the spirit of embracing joy and connection. Let's create an adventure right now with your imagination." And so, the two formed a bond. They sculpted whimsical stories of enchanted jungles and mystical lands where elephants were guides, leading children through trials and tiny deciding moments. They drew maps in the petals of flowers and even called forth imaginary creatures that danced joyfully in the breeze. From that day onward, Peter began to change. He invited neighborhood children to his garden, pulling forth toys that had once seemed so precious they were meant to be enjoyed alone. He introduced them to Mr. Trunks, who became a vessel of camaraderie. They embarked on countless adventures, climbing trees and playing games, laughter echoing through the garden, where it once felt lonely. With every connection Peter fostered, he felt his heart expand. As seasons changed, Peter grew up, but the lessons learned from the old man lingered closely within him. He sought deeper connections, understanding that true wealth lay not in material possessions, but in the moments shared with loved ones. He nurtured friendships, sought out new experiences, and shared his heart, and with that, he became a beacon of positivity and joy in his community. Years later, after the old man was long gone, Peter became a successful young adult, although his success was profoundly different from his parents'. While they focused on accumulating riches, Peter chose a path of meaningful impact, a career devoted to helping troubled youth and connecting with those in need of love, kindness, and companionship. In his interactions with the children, he passed on the lessons from Mr. Trunks and the wise old man. He introduced sharing circles where children could connect through stories and laughter, healing the loneliness that often permeated their lives. And each time he reached out, he felt the echoes of joy returning, expanding within him, reminding him of the power of community and shared experience. As years went by, Peter would often sit on that same bench in the garden, the vibrant flowers blooming around him, greeting the young ones with the same warmth he had received. Life taught him that, while they may not always have the riches of the world, every child has the capacity for greatness, friendship, and joy when nurtured by kindness, connection, and love. In sharing Mr. Trunks, he had become a master of connection, the storyteller, the guide, the beloved friend who could spark happiness in others. In conclusion, the story of Peter reminds us all of a vital truth, that the true essence of life is not in what we possess but in how we connect with one another. We are richer for our relationships and the joy we spread in a world that sometimes feels isolating. So remember, no matter how young or old you may feel, within you lies the potential to create significant connections that bloom into friendships. Embrace those moments, cherish the laughter, and always choose to be a vessel of joy, for that is the greatest wealth we can ever know.